Dell is always ready.
Okay. Um, Welcome to Tabletop Therapy. I'm Connor, and this is JD. We are here doing Dungeons and Dragons, a duo game where we're both kind of dungeon master, both players. We're using random generation and a bunch of other tools to run the game and help us. To not have to have anything prepared and let randomness and our whimsy lead the adventure. JD, say something.
Something. I'm happy to be here, Connor. Always good to play with you and the robots.
Excellent. Okay, so little recap, and JD fill in the gaps here if I miss anything. Um, this is our third episode. In the first two, the first one we basically established the region that we're in, the Driftwood Heath, which is near the coast. It's a sort of shrubland region, and there's a major city called Stormholt that is ruled by a tyrant, but is somebody who's a religious leader, and maybe not a tyrant, but like a monarch, if you will. But it's a religious leader. And the religion is called the Veiled, and they worship Dwemerwaith, which is sort of an old god of the depths. And it's sort of it's a it's a well regulated place, but because of the fear that the Veiled holds over the people of the city, they're very strict, and there are blood sacrifices and human sacrifice to Dwemerwaith, and so stepping out of line, you may find yourself at the bottom of the sea, and that really keeps people in line. So that's sort of the region we created, the city we created, and then we created
It's
our
like a
characters.
Lovecraftian Eldritch dystopia. It's
Yeah, it's perfect.
beautiful.
And so then we created our characters, and my character is a Warforged fighter. Will eventually become a champion, but for now, just a regular fighter. His name is Amrienor. Goes by Am, which doesn't get confusing at all. And he just sort of the short background for him. He was an automaton recently that was a functionary of the Veiled and bringing. He was a depth walker. Is that what we called him?
A deep walker.
Deep
Yeah, yeah.
walker. So he would actually take those sacrificed. The corpses of those that were sacrificed to Drummerwaith, and he would draw them down to the bottom of the sea, just offshore of Stormholt, and tie them down as the final step in the sacrificial process. So, but he woke up from who knows how many years of that work, and realized that he wanted something different for himself, and he began to walk away from that work, and now he has found himself connected to through looking for work, looking for a job, connected to JD's character. And JD, why don't you do a quick recap on your character?
I am Delandra, the plucky and ambitious orange frogman, recently saved from the poverty of his backwood home in the sort of rural area outside of Stormholt, who has uh, sort of lied his way into a job with the Veiled as a sort of uh, like cult mercenary and enforcer, because he is dreaming of bigger things. And for a little frog in this society, the only way to achieve greatness, he thinks, is to work for the Veiled, work for the cult that rules the region. Uh, yeah, that's
Beautiful.
Dell.
Cool. So those were the characters we rolled. That was the region and the place we found ourselves in, and we got a quest from the Veiled. Actually, Dell's,
Initiation, his
yeah,
his test.
Yeah, we needed to go to an obelisk that seems like it was associated with the Veiled, in a cave near the coast, and there was reports that monsters had defiled it, and we needed to cleanse it. And so we made our way down there, dodged a trap, got attacked by a hungry crocodile, killed it pretty easily. Not hungry, it was wounded, but it was probably also hungry.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went into this cave and found some fishmen, or sharkmen,
Sure.
that had defiled the shrine. We dealt with them. Delandra almost went down, but did just fine. And the obelisk was purified, and we, reveled in our success. We got a little bit of a treasure kickback, and we leveled up to level 2, which is great because we didn't die at level 1.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of bringing us up to the present. And now we need to return. And I think Dell would mostly take the lead here, given that this was your quest, and Am is
Yep.
more of a follower in this quest setup. So why don't you? We're still in the cave, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and haven't yet set out back home.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we had long rested, like right at the end there.
Got it.
Um, so, can you share the map with me? I don't. It says, please wait for your DM to start the game session.
All
Perfect.
right, I just started it. You should
Um,
be good to go.
oh, and as a final recap, the very last thing that happened, I think, was Am promising to give Dell a postcard when they got
That's
back
right.
to town, because that's what he wanted to buy with the gold that we found in the shark creature's hoard.
Yeah, some of it. That's because my character was generated with a quirk that he's a postcard collector, and it was sort of like something that, as he entered into his consciousness and was exploring the world around him, was just sort of struck by the simple beauty of a paper postcard, and now collects them.
Yeah, and our two little guys here, emotional toddlers, the both of them are forming a budding little friendship, maybe.
Perfect.
Okay, so all right, we've completed long rest. Dell is waking up. Am, I assume, is sitting there silently watching since he doesn't have to sleep.
Yep.
Um, does Am notice anything during the night that he wants to comment on?
I think we already did our long rest time passing. Uh, maybe. Oh, I think we did because it was early in the morning when we enter the cave, and now it's 2
Mm-hmm.
p.m. So I think that was the end of our long rest.
Cool. Okay. Um, well, time to set back. Uh, no, to head back home to Stormholt to complete my quest and join the Veiled.
I'm ready when you are. I feel stronger after having adventured with you for this time.
Me too. I feel as though I've leveled up in my capabilities as a warrior. Let's go. And he starts to trot towards the entrance to the cave.
What was
Or
the...
froggle.
There we
He
go.
starts to froggle towards the entrance to the cave.
Got it. I needed the froggle, so. Um okay, so we make our way without any issue to the mouth of the cave. I think we've neutralized this area.
Mm-hmm.
So I think at this point it's just going back into a travel mode, to get
Mm-hmm.
us back home. And so it's basically a question of whether or not we are going to run into any enemies while we do so. So I think it was what, full day's travel, or was it 2 days travel?
2 days. It was a day to the coast and then a day up the coast to Kha'Zarah, the sacred cave.
Okay.
Uh,
So we'll do 8 hours. That'll take us to 10 p.m. nighttime. Actually, I'm gonna do 6 at a time because that's just how the time pool works. Um,
I'm
and
I'm thinking danger levels, not peaceful.
But just,
Since we're
I think we're back to vacant.
yeah kind of
Since we cleared the enemies.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first 6 hours, I will update the time, and then I will trigger the time pool. We are clear. Okay,
right.
and then we will be left with 2 remaining dice for 2 remaining hours until we try our long rest. And that will... Okay, so we will have traveled all the way down the coast by this point, and we're ready to head inland, but we've done basically a full day's work among the fighting and the traveling, and it's late, so we should set up camp. I think you are the one... Oh, Bash is here. Welcome back, Bash.
Hi, Bash.
So I think you were doing the survival checks to see about finding a good spot for us to camp for the night.
And we got an 18.
18,
so
pretty good.
We found maybe a perfect little cave along the coast by the path back towards the city.
Yeah,
nice
works.
And snug.
That works.
Oh, before long resting though, Del needs to go soak himself in the seawater. This is a thing that grungs, frog people, have to do to stay healthy.
Self-care.
He needs his beauty soak. So he's gonna froggle down to the water. He's a little bashful, so he says, "Look away." And he trots off and disrobes and goes into the sea.
I mean, what is he wearing that he needs to disrobe? Because I thought
he's wearing robes.
Oh, I thought it was like really minimal. Well, okay, the picture, sure.
Yeah, because remember, he's got to hide his glow because it's the evidence of his his illicit transformation into an orange grung.
That's right.
So he's pretty well covered up except for his hands and feet, and he wears his hood most of the time.
Got it.
And his robes and everything are orange because he's really trying to sell the fact that he's an orange grung.
Perfect. Okay.
He's overcompensating a little bit.
Yeah. So
he doesn't want Am to look as well because he's gonna glow like a faded glow stick a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. Am doesn't look. He's fine with the peculiarities of the non-constructed folk. And cool. So you get your little soak in. Say again?
You want to time pool it for that hour?
Oh yeah, because that's a full hour, huh?
Yeah. Okay. While Connor does that, Bash, you haven't missed anything. We just got started and we're picking up right from where we left off after clearing the dungeon that you sort of suggested to us last time.
Indeed. All right, so now we've got half a full time pool. We are at 11 p.m. So I imagine we'll be settling in for a long rest at this point. And I would even say that first hour is where you were soaking can be considered long rest material. So that's totally fine. So we've got now 7 more hours of resting to do. I'm going to do the next 3 to fill and spill our time pool here.
Okay.
And we shall see what happens.
I don't remember if we explained this last time, but Bash, basically, Connor has a little tool here that for every hour that we're out in a space, calculates the risk that we encounter a trap or monsters or something, and it's got higher degrees of danger if we're in a more dangerous place.
Okay, so we did get something. It's like natural disaster type danger. So it says flood, fire, tornado. So flood makes the most sense, I think. So we could call this like a storm, perhaps, because it has some trap stats that it generated, which doesn't really fit so well, but maybe this is how we'll play into how we weather the storm. But it does say lightning is the type of damage. So that makes a lot of sense for a storm. So given that we're in a cave, I think we're really safe here, and I'm not probably going to have much happen. What I may do is, given the intensity of the storm, why don't we have some likelihood that a dangerous creature is kind of runs into the cave just because they're trying to flee from the lightning and the storming outside.
Sounds good.
So creature taking cover. What do you think the likelihood ought to be here if we're going kind of low? Very
I think
unlikely.
do no, I think do unlikely or even just because, we're in a more desolate area and there were monsters not too far away.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. I'm just going to do unlikely.
Okay.
And then generate. And the answer is no. No creature takes cover. So that was a pretty easy danger generation. So glad we dodged that bullet. We have 4 more hours until our long rest is complete. So I'll go ahead and update the time here. That will take us to 6 a.m. And that's going to give us 4 more time pool, 2 more to fill before it spills again. And now we start our journey back to town overland at 6 a.m., sort of sunrise, just before sunrise, which would have been at 6:30. So I'll do 2 more hours to fill and spill the time pool.
Cool.
So that's 2 more vacant. And then we do have something that's generated here. And I'm just going to say, like, at what hour this got generated. It was... no, never mind. It doesn't really make sense to do it that way. Okay, so we're at 8 a.m. We've been traveling for about 2 hours now. And there's basically just this giant bug creature. It gave us, like, huge tick plus centipede. So I'm imagining, like, a centipede that's, like, a blood-sucking sort of insect creature.
Okay.
But it was just hunting and foraging. We come across it. It says it's visible at a great distance. So what I'm going to do for us here is, even though we're coming across a danger, it does not mean that we are actually in danger here. And we have a chance potentially either to ambush the creature or not. It could actually get the better of us. But given that it's far away, we may have a chance to detect it before it detects us. So I am going to create a new encounter here. And
Connor,
what's up?
I've lost you.
You lost me.
Yes, period. Internet just went down. Period.
I think it was like a internet killing centipede is what we found. Yep. Okay. We're back.
Hello, party people.
We are back after some technical difficulties. The centipede, apparently, that we saw from a while off, not only sucks
Destroyed our
blood,
internet.
but eats internet as well. So I'm hoping that's the last of that. Okay, back at it. So basically what we were talking about is that there was this tick centipede thing that was hunting and foraging. It was a good distance off. We were about to determine whether or not we were going to be able to sneak up on it or if it was going to be able to detect us. It's early morning. Visibility should be good. There's just... there's no wind. What does it say here? Yeah, there's mostly clear skies. So yeah, there's no reason why we wouldn't be able to see this thing at a fair distance. So I just need to figure out what monster I'm going to use to represent this centipede creature. So let me find out.
You telling me you don't have all of the insect monsters in D&D memorized?
No, I do not, unfortunately. There is a giant centipede. There's also something called a choldrith or a coldrith. But let's pull up the giant centipede.
Okay.
That's probably gonna be our best bet here.
You want to change the map to like the like foresty map or like a grassland or something?
Yeah, good call. We'll just do the grass field here.
Perfect.
And we'll put ourselves over in the corner up top. And then, so this is...
I can throw it down. Giant centipede, small beast, it says. Wait.
Yeah, this doesn't look like it's going to be challenging for us. So what we may want to do... It just says it's 1 and it's large. So I may just... We can either...
Increase its health pool.
Yeah, we can either just like make it tougher. Like double damage, double health pool.
Let's add a few.
Okay, so we'll do multiple of them to make up for it. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do that then. So I'm going to add 3 of them makes it a hard encounter for us. So let's call it 3.
Great.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and run this encounter. I'm going to roll for them. They have blindside out 30 feet, but otherwise, I don't know that they have additional senses. So they're going to have trouble detecting us, which works in our favor. I don't even think I need to roll anything stealth or like we're seeing them at a far way off. So did you already put them on the map there?
Yep.
Great. So how far is that? That's like 60 feet off. I would put them all the way down in the corner. Yeah, I think that's going to be better. And then they're at like 30 feet detection. So what I'm going to do here is I think we would both see them around the same time. Why don't we just roll both of us perception to see like who sees them first?
Okay.
So I got a 15.
I nat 20'd.
All right, so you see them first. So you can go ahead and start this role play of how we engage with these centipedes.
Okay, I'm adding numbers to their names so we know which is which. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so Dell, both of our characters fainted at the sight of them, evidently, and just woke up. Is how we're gonna roleplay the internet going down.
Perfect.
So Dell says, "No giant bug's gonna stop me," and he friggin' frog hops over.
Okay, so he doesn't want to even like consider just letting them pass because it just looks like they're hunting, they're foraging, but he's gonna be aggressive and he's gonna go after them.
Oh yeah, he's trying to prove himself. He's riding high after his first successful quest. He's going back to the city to live out his dream of joining the Veiled. So he's feeling too good to not test out his new capacities.
Okay, so would he attempt like a sneak attack at this point?
Yes, he's gonna try to stealth them.
Okay. So
being the sneaky little bright orange frog he is.
I'm just gonna have one of them roll perception to see how close we can get. They have bad wisdom, so they got a 4. So I think even though I have disadvantage on my stealth, we're both gonna roll stealth to see how we approach. I did well actually, 14.
I nat 20'd again.
Okay. So so remind me, the new rules for the surprise round was what?
They get disadvantage on their initiative rolls.
Got it. Okay, so I don't have a way to do that here automatically, so I'm going to just roll their dex roll twice and take the lower. So 8 and 8 on both, so they are 8 in initiative order. And so we definitely get the jump on them. So that just means we roll standard initiative or advantage?
Standard.
Okay. So
yeah, it applies the surprised condition to them. which causes them to roll disadvantage.
Okay. I got a 15, you got a 14, so I'm actually going first. So I'm going to run in. Let's see here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You actually only have 25 movement speed. Is that correct? Or wait, it's showing 35 now.
Mm-hmm.
Is that because you're a monk? I thought grung had 25 base.
I've got a 25 long jump distance base as a grung.
Okay, maybe I'm just wrong. I thought I read that you had a slower base movement speed.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna hold my action with trident in hand. The first centipede that comes close, I'm gonna chuck my trident at, and I have my shield out. Otherwise, and that's gonna be my turn. I don't think I'm gonna do anything else for now. So you're up, Dell.
Okay. How does long jump work? I've never tried to do a long jump in D&D before. Is that does that use like more of my movement speed or something?
Well, so typically what you're supposed to do is move 10 feet before jumping, but I think the grung has like the ability to do it without. And then you basically can leap a number of feet up to your strength score, not modified. So if your strength score is 15, you can jump 15 feet. So I think you have like something that works around that because you're a grung. What is your long jump?
It just says your long jump is up to 25 feet and your high jump is up to 15 feet with or without a running start.
Okay, so you could basically, I think, run your full distance and then jump the 25 feet or whatever it is.
That's really cool. Okay.
Yep.
So I just hit the end of my range, and Dell is gonna let's see, 1, 2, 3. He's gonna he's gonna leapfrog right over here. And he's gonna, midair, he's gonna hiya and throw a dagger at giant centipede number 1.
Okay. Go ahead and make your attack roll.
Is a 19 to hit.
19 hits.
Oh, yes, it does. Okay, so just the piercing damage is going to be 6.
Wait a second. These things only have 4 HP.
Well, I guess he just went down. Or we can turn that up if you want.
It's supposed to be a hard fight regardless. They must just have really strong attacks. So I'm just gonna say like that's fine. So so your hit would definitely one-shot him. What was the damage?
It was 6, and we haven't done the roll for the extra poison damage yet.
Okay, you can roll for it if you want, but he goes down.
Oh, let's just we don't need to do it. It's a con save. Too many rolls. Okay. He's dead.
All right, so giant centipede 1 goes down. Anything else from you?
Yeah, I think what does patient defense do again? I haven't.
Dodge action. As a bonus action when you spend a key point, I think, or a focus point.
Okay. That's it. He's good. He's exhausted his movement. He's taken out a centipede. He's feeling good.
Okay. When you ran in, Am had this moment of panic, given what happened last time. When you ran ahead of him and, got clobbered pretty good. But after he sees the dagger fly and that centipede just falls unmoving to the ground, he kind of like loses some of that concern. But also watches as the 2 remaining centipedes turn and flank you. So the first one attacking is going to go for a bite with its big old blood-sucking mandibles. Is that what what centipedes have? Mandibles? 11 to hit. Does it hit?
It does not.
Do we want to do flanking? Does that one get advantage on the attack against you?
I'm going to let you make the DM call on that. Or we can ask the generator if we're going to use flanking rules.
I'm okay
with it.
I mean, it's going to work in our favor and it's going to work against us too. I think it's actually generally not going to work as much in our favor because of the combo that we're going to do. So it's mostly going to be irrelevant. But let me see if the flanking rules are in. Okay, it's not included. So I'm just gonna ignore flanking. We're not gonna do it. So the first centipede misses, but the one behind you, it's now its turn to roll, and it does not hit with a 13. I think
it does not.
Okay. So they both go after you, but your little froggy is too quick and dodges out of the way. Am is up. He's got 30 feet to get to his target, so that's perfect. He's going to go after centipede number 2. He's going to go ahead and drop shield and trident and pull out the great sword and do a great sword attack against this one. It's a 9, misses. But he gets because of the great sword's ability that he has on mastery, I get to use graze that will do 3 damage. Because it just does the damage of my modifier, which unfortunately just doesn't do enough to take him down. I'm going to go ahead and use my action surge for a second attack against this one. I miss again, but graze thankfully knocks
Takes him out.
the target here with 3 additional damage. Centipede 2 or B is dead, and I don't have any more movement, so that's the end for me. And Delandra is up.
All right, Del is going to dagger attack right at that third giant centipede, and that is an 18, which I imagine hits.
That definitely hits.
All right, and he does 4. That's exactly what
perfect.
he needs.
All right.
And he just right in between the centipede's mandibles. Do grungs eat bugs like frogs do?
I don't know if there's lore on that. Do grungs eat bugs?
Yeah, grungs. We're just gonna say grungs.
Yes, they do.
Maybe not. Okay, great. They don't have to only eat bugs, but this grung likes a tasty bug.
Perfect.
So he also cuts off a chunk of the centipede and kind of pockets it to roast up later around the fire.
Excellent. Very tasty. I mean, Am has no idea what the point of taking a piece of its flesh is, but is totally fine with this. Okay, so they're defeated. We get some experience for this, so let me go ahead and figure out what that is.
Gimme.
75 per player, so not amazing, but pretty good.
For 3 bugs with 4 HP, not bad.
True. Can we get these guys to respawn real quick?
Yeah, let's farm some centipedes for a while.
Okay, so they are down. There doesn't seem like there would be a high likelihood of them having loot, but why don't we leave it up to a roll? Do you have investigation?
Mm-hmm.
Are you proficient?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm crazy. No, I do not. I have a -1.
Okay, me too.
This frog is dumb.
So why don't we do it this way? We'll just use our perception to detect loot. What's your perception benefit? Is it
+5.
okay?
And
So
proficient.
why don't you take the lead on looking for the loot then?
Okay.
And let's say a DC of 15. Okay, so
That's an 18, baby.
so we're gonna go ahead and roll then just some random loot here to see what we get. Treasure. The CR rating was 1/4. So I'm just gonna round us up to 1/2 since there was 3 of them, and then we'll do just individual treasure. Roll me a d10.
Come on. It's a 5.
That's 17 copper.
All right.
So not much, but it was.
He's slicing up centipede chunks, and his dagger hit something hard inside the carapace of the centipede, and some coin.
Yeah, I think what happened there is it must have eaten some like creature that actually had some coin on it, and that's how it came to be carrying some money. Okay, so that was clearing our time pool for the first 2 hours of the day. We have another 6 hours to go to get to town. So that's going to take us up to a complete another time pool. So let's go ahead and update the time. Fill the time pool with vacant. And then we're going to empty it with no danger. All right, so we made it all the way back to town. Now we're back in Stormholt, back to peace and safety. I'll kind of let you take over here since we're probably heading into the heart of the Veiled.
So Dell's gonna turn to Am as they get into town and say, "Follow me. Time to report back to my superior." Can we generate the superior real quick?
Yeah, let's do it. Generate a character. We're gonna do weighted. Okay, so we have Narwaith, a gnarly halfling barbarian. Path of the Zealot actually feels good.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
Cheery highwayman. So sort of maybe like a grifter type folk. Sacrifice journey. Sacrifice fits. A phenomenal appearance. So this, I'm imagining this halfling is just so buff, and that's what that's referring to.
Yeah, just a built, gorgeous little halfling barbarian.
I'm realizing that this didn't generate. Oh, you know what? I think it got the. I have like male and female, and I think it got other. So, so that means genderless or something.
Yeah. It's ambiguous, a gender ambiguous.
Maybe at least to us, like just
we don't
know.
Yeah. Dell hasn't asked yet.
So, but just like a whole lot of muscle, whatever this thing is, and crooked nose, but cowardly. Fear of long words. So this plays into maybe a low intelligence, and they're sort of like this, and this sort of like triggers that a bit. Started off as a shoemaker and did some baking work apparently before they went to the gym and changed their path. So Narwaith is the name. Character. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to remove the dash here. And
so
new entity.
Del leads Am to the veiled barracks off of the Stormholt Keep, where his fellow enforcers are headquartered. And they get there, and he says, "Time to report to Nar." And goes and finds Nar. Where do you want to role play Nar here? Where's Nar going to be?
Yeah, I think
in this little center.
I think Nar is. Well, what do you mean center?
I'm imagining this as like a full, like a headquarters for the like enforcers that serve the Veiled. So like a barracks, there's like a forge with the, their little armorer shop person. There's probably like a training ground. So a little,
yeah,
little HQ.
What do we think the rank of Nar is? Like some sort of title that we would give to them.
He's like a lieutenant, I'd say. So he's like a military middle manager. He's not the boss.
I don't know how to spell lieutenant, JD.
Do you really not?
I really don't. Can you spell it for me?
Lieut tenant, Tenant.
There we go. See, this is that. I'm just trying to role play that fear of long words thing.
Yeah, you freaking nailed it.
Thanks. Okay. So Lieutenant for the Veiled gave Del the job to cleanse the obelisk.
The obelisk.
Okay. So yeah, I guess you'd come into the barracks. Maybe there's like I'm imagining like a desk, lots of dark woods and things like that. I'm imagining like pretty much everything cast and like made out of dark stone and dark wood in this entire city. But he's sitting behind, or they are sitting behind this desk, and it's funny because the desk is small because it's a halfling. But it also, Nar is a little bit out of place.
At a desk.
And so there's this weird, contrast that exists. And you get the sense that Nar, anytime somebody walks into the room, is sort of eager to live vicariously through them. Somehow they got stuck with a desk job, and, like their weapon is like on the desk. They're like obviously not super content with desk work. But anyway, so you come in and Nar stands up and rises a few inches from sitting to standing and says, Del, you have returned.
And Del sort of like stiffens up and probably like totally unnecessarily kind of salutes and says, "Del, the orange grung reporting for duty, sir or ma'am. Nar." Not really sure.
Well, how did it go? Were you able to cleanse the obelisk?
Yes. Person, we were able to kill all of the monsters and cleanse the obelisk. I used the words that you gave me. The spell.
Very good. Well done. And the monsters, of what kind were they?
They were fishy, sort of like shark people.
The Shahugan. I know of them. I've fought many Shahugan in my time. He goes and like pats the weapon on his desk. It's like a great axe, and then he like holds it up and kind of like admires it and says, "Tell me, how did you kill them? I want to hear the violence in how you describe it."
Del's like really uncomfortable. He's not quite sure what's happening. How obviously wistful is Nar looking at this point?
Make an insight check.
Um, that is an 11. Unfortunately, it was very close to being a nat 20.
You're just confused. You're not really able to pick up what's going on. You're just trying to keep up with the conversation at this point.
Dell kind of, stutters for a moment and then says, "Well, I almost died actually, but my new friend Am here," and he pats Am's big, granite shoulder. Stepped in, and we were able to finish them. Frankly, I don't recall how I killed them. It's been a couple days.
At the mention of Am, Nar turns and, as if noticing him for the first time, and says, "Is this your slave? Who have you acquired a slave that helps you fight?"
Oh, no. This is Am. He's a strong robot man who I hired to assist me. He's sort of like my bodyguard. I being an orange grung, very high status among my people. It's not uncommon for us orange grungs to have a handy helper, a bodyguard, like Am.
Nar sort of looks at Am curiously and says, "Speak, tell me, if you can, what was the battle like? I want to know the violent details." At this, Am sort of has up until this point kind of just been like nodding along as if to like confirm the things you're saying and be supportive, and now just freezes a little bit and says, "Yes, I used this," and pulls out like the pike that he used to kill them. They were very aggressive, but I was able to skewer them quite well through their fishy centers with this long pike. And at that, Nar says, "Yes, very good. And did they scream?" And Am kind of like looks over at you and nods.
A lot, much screaming.
Yes, they were in a lot of pain, Am says. And then Nar says, "Good." And he slams the axe on the table and he says, "Well, you have done very well, the two of you. And I'm glad to see, Del, that you have found yourself a good bodyguard that can really knows how to inflict the pain that Dwimmerwaith enjoys upon our enemies. It's what they deserved for soiling our sacred site. So congratulations. You have earned your rank." What would the rank be for like this initial acceptance into the Veil, do you think?
What's a good like cultic term for like an acolyte or an initiate or something like that? Yeah, acolyte works. Let's do an acolyte.
"Del of the Grung, I now name you acolyte to the Veiled. And along with this high honor comes more responsibility. This has just been the first test, but I will tell you that we are quickly approaching a very sacred time in the calendar of the Veiled, where many rituals will be performed in honor of Dwimmerwaith, and we need more sites similar to this one to be prepared for the rituals. And I wish I could go, honestly, because I imagine that there would be much battle. But you've proven that you should be able to handle it, so I will give you the next location that needs to be cleansed. This is a much older site. It's actually fallen to the waves and is in the depths of the sea. and you will need to acquire some way to which, for you, Del, I think will not be a problem to travel far beneath the waters. But for your friend, well, does it even breathe? Maybe it'll be fine. Anyway, that's for you to find out. But there is another site underwater, and he sort of hands us he hands you a little piece of paper that has like a crude map drawn on it, with perhaps like there's a what are they called? Mark? Something mark? Milestone, similar word. Anyway, a landmark. Landmark is the word I was looking for. So and maybe the landmark is like there's a lighthouse or something like that. And so the map has it marked where it's like 2 miles north of the lighthouse and then straight out to sea is basically what the map says. He hands that to you and he says, and maybe it also says like 2 miles out to sea from that point. And he says, once you get to the location marked on the map, dive down, and you will find the entrance to one of the ancient ruins that the Veiled has used for countless centuries for these rituals. Cleanse it and return to me.
Do we want to generate the name of this site?
Yeah, let's do it.
For Nar to tell us about.
All right. Oh, you already pulled up site. All right, I'm going to click generate. And we've got Barazirion.
Nice.
It's a corroded, rusty, old place. It says it's occupied.
Okay.
It says up skyward, which is basically the opposite of what basically it should be. But it will be in plain sight when we arrive.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and it's going to have another monolith, so that can be the up skyward portion.
True, that's what it was last time, I think. Mm-hmm. All right. Barazirion has been saved as our place number 4. Okay. So, any questions for Nar at this point? He's given you the information. I suppose he would give you some sort of reward in addition to...
Oh, yeah.
So let's just... I'm going to call this challenge rating 1, and I'm going to do individual treasure with items. Go ahead and roll me a d10.
That's a 5.
Okay. It's a pretty crappy treasure. So he will hand you... okay, I think this is probably going to be ceremonial more than anything. Okay. But he hands us 18 more copper.
So this is his pocket change, actually.
Yeah, I'm guessing maybe it's like maybe there's something about the number 18 that is ceremonial or something. Otherwise, I don't know why he would hand us so little. But more significantly, he hands you a carved bone whistle, which you should add to your extra inventory. There's a little section for like odd bits, and a letter of correspondence. So you should add that also to your inventory. And this is going to be an item that potentially can be used to gain access to places. It basically certifies you as an acting member of the Veiled at your current rank of acolyte, and will get us access to different parts of the city, maybe get us discounts to vendors. He doesn't explicitly say, but in essence, the correspondence is signed by him and notes that you are authorized to act on behalf of the Veiled according to your rank. Okay, so that's basically what we got for completing the quest at this point, and I hope that letter will have more value than 18 copper.
The letter also specifies that we have been given access to the forge or the armory or whatever we want to call it.
True. So yeah, we can use that. Let's just say that that's something that Nar said. He said, with this letter, you can downstairs at the desk, you can be let in to have access to the veiled supply room, and if you speak with the individual there, they will sell you at a good rate for the veiled many supplies or things you may need for your journeys.
Great. So Dell says, he stiffens up again and says, Thank you, Nar, sir, ma'am. I'm very excited to prove myself. May I say, you're looking particularly muscled today.
Would you say that I look phenomenal?
Yes, very phenomenal.
Well, dismissed then.
Dell kind of like bows and backs away and kind of, like grabs Am, trying to get him to do the same thing.
Yeah, Am, no problem. Gives a bow, follows you out. Okay, so I'm thinking probably we go to the shop, get some health potions.
Yes, yeah. So let's go over to the. Well, Dell first. Once they're out of the room, Dell turns to Am and says, "Thank you so much for your help. Sorry for what I said about you being my, sort of servant. But if you'd like, I would really love for you to tag along on this next quest with me as well." Sort of pleadingly, like really hoping Am's going to say yes.
Well, I do think I would like that. I do still need to get you a postcard or two, or several. So perhaps after this next bit of your job, we could go into the city together and I could get you that postcard. And so I should probably stick around until that point so that we don't get, separated or anything. But I think it would really enjoy doing this again and helping you with this next part of the quest.
Dell's really excited for their second date. And Dell says, "Oh, yes, if we pull this off, I bet you can buy all the postcards you could ever want."
Really is
again being not really sure why you're getting these postcards, but as many as you want.
You'll see why. I'll show you. But you really think that the Veiled will pay that well for this work?
Well, I mean, where there's a dangerous ritual object and monsters potentially, there's bound to be treasure, right?
I suppose you must be right, given your many years in the world, and I imagine that has brought, wisdom. And so I trust that it will probably be worth it. And this makes me want to go even more.
Dell just, sort of like wants to pass himself off and say, "Oh, yes, much experience and wisdom. Yes. Well, on that note, why don't we gear up at the armory?"
That sounds good to me. I could use some supplies in case something goes wrong. This next location sounds like it could be a little more dangerous, given that if the creatures we fought already came from the depths, and now we're entering into the depths, we may see many more of them there.
I can't wait. And he froggles towards the forge.
Great. Okay, so going to the desk, I don't think we need to really role play the person at the desk unless we want them to be like a staple of this location. What do you think?
Why not? We could end up with a fun character generated.
All right, I already have one here generated, and
okay.
Cabrina, the lizard folk female warrior, insensitive druid. Motivation is to analyze honor. Elegantly torn appearance, homely appearance, malicious, fear of trees.
Okay.
Was a barrel maker and still is a barrel maker apparently, or did a lot of that anyway. And now has taken a desk job, it seems, at the Veiled Barracks. So I'm going to go ahead and have Cabrina in as a new entity.
The teenage witch.
Yeah, I love. I wanted that name just because of the association. Okay, so you, as you and I approach the counter, we see this lizard folk woman. I'm not exactly sure how to describe her physical appearance, but she doesn't look very kind, and doesn't look like she takes the greatest care of herself. And as you approach, she just kind of stares the both of us down and waits for us to speak.
Greetings, fellow Veiled. And he sort of like awkwardly kind of half bows and holds out the letter he just received from Nar.
She takes it, looks at it, hands it back. Papers are in order. What can I do for you?
Well, you see, my friend and I here are about to set off on our second quest to serve the Veiled. It's really my first quest. Oh.
I don't want your life story. Please, just what do you need?
Right, of course. Sorry. Some supplies. Do you have... And he kind of like seems to like gag a little bit. Potions?
Of course we have potions. Do you want our standard healing potions, or are you looking for something stronger?
Two of the standard for each of us, I think, should be good. What do you think, Am?
Am just nods, doesn't say anything. She says, all right, 4 potions. With the standard discount, that's going to be 5%. That would be 47.5 each. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to do math. But go ahead and do you want to try and persuade her to get a discount?
No, Dell is not feeling it. He she's scary. Dell is scared of Cabrina.
Right. Okay, so we're at 190 then.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means
unless Am wants to try to persuade her.
No. I don't think he would. Okay, so that's going to be 95 from each of us. So go ahead and take that out of your GPs.
Okay.
And then
as she hands the potion over to each of them, Dell kind of like, like he, as if he doesn't want to touch the potions at all, like reaches out and just kind of gingerly barely grabs them and sets them in his sack.
I forgot about that.
Very, very dramatic about it. He seems like he kind of like looks away and like gags a little bit as he touches the potions. Sorry, and puts them in his satchel.
I'm gonna see.
He offers no explanation.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll insight real quick to see if I notice. All right, I got a 6, so I'm not even gonna say that I noticed there. I'm just too preoccupied with like. This is maybe beyond buying some postcards, like the first time that I've interacted with a shopkeeper, and I'm feeling awkward because I've got somebody else here with me that I care about and want to think well of me, and so I don't want to be too awkward with, So there's too many things going on in my little Warforged brain, and I don't really notice.
Does Cabrina say anything?
Are you trying to play it cool?
Dell is too. He's phobic here, so
okay. So Cabrina's just
he's
like
not putting on any kind of front.
Cabrina just looks at you with like kind of squints, gives you like a stink eye. She's like, "Something wrong, little man?"
Oh, no, I don't like potions, really.
Oh, all right. Well, if that's it, I have a lot of work to do.
Very good. Of course, of course. Thank you so much for your help. He kind of like bows and backs away.
Yeah, she does not care that you don't like potions. Um, okay, so that's that. Successful, buying stuff from Cabrina, lizard folk lady. She's very pleasant. All right. So we wrapped up buying stuff, and I suppose we should head out now. Is there anything else that you would want to do in town, since Am has decided that he's not gonna do postcards now? He's gonna wait till after our next little adventure.
No, Dell's jazzed. He's ready to go, and he's just spent almost all his money on those 2 potions, so he's ready to head to the coast.
Cool. This is quest number 2. So we're gonna call this Purify the Obelisk at Barazirion. Okay, basically the same thing. Prepare for the great ritual that Nar mentioned. Okay.
Which Dell, for some reason, did not think to ask about what that great ritual is.
All right. Well, we'll make a note to ask Nar more details when we get back after this one, if we survive. Okay. So I think we just head out the city. We're going to do another basically day of travel back to the ocean. Let's say that the watchtower lighthouse thing is almost a straight shot from the city to the coast. So it'll just be 8 hours basically till we get there.
Okay.
So I'm going to say that this whole exchange in the city maybe took us like an hour with the shopping and all of that. So we're looking at 3 p.m. So a straight shot would take us to 11 p.m. before we rested at the shore. So do you want to do a straight shot?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So we're going to do our first 6 hours, fill and empty the time pool at vacant. And then we'll have another 2 hours before we get to the coast. Okay. We do have a hostile group of ox. They're aggressive. There's 9 of them.
There's 9 of them?
Correct. They're in plain sight. So let me see what we have here in terms of ox creatures. Okay, there are some here. So I can just add 9 to this, and let me see. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is actually a deadly encounter if we end up fighting them. So ox.
No, it's not.
Ox
really?
herd. Yes. So we'll see what happens here. So I basically just need to figure out, oh, geez, they're big.
Yeah, they're large.
Oh, God. Okay, so we're just traveling overland. We're trying to get to the coast, and we just happen to come across, you have all 9 there? Yeah, you do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A bunch
I want to note that the generator is telling us that these are hostile, aggressive ox.
Yeah, so...
dying.
Yeah, so something has gone wrong.
Interesting.
So I don't think this is normal. I don't think this is natural. But these things in seeing us are going to try to attack us aggressively. So let's go ahead and Let's give it a DC 15 on perception to notice them from a distance without being noticed because they're in plain sight. So, okay, I got a 19, you got a 25. So we definitely notice them.
I nat 20, so I super noticed them.
Okay. So we are let's see. Yeah, okay, they're mid-range actually is what this says. So 60 feet out is probably, given that they're in plain sight, where we'll put them. So do you have them basically at 60 out? Let's move us back.
Yeah, then that's about right there.
Okay. So I'm going to roll perception for them to see if they notice us. But let's go ahead and roll stealth for us, which I always have disadvantage on. Okay, I got a 4, so they're probably going to notice us.
And I crit failed.
Okay, they're going to notice us. But this is wisdom. Okay, so yeah, they notice us with an 11, and they're just going to start charging us. So no one's getting a surprise round here, but I'm going to auto roll. I think they will all have the same turn on initiative. No, I'll just auto roll it, and then some of them will go first, some of them will go last. And then we can roll our initiative now. Okay, I got a 12.
I got an 18.
All right, we're going to start the encounter. Okay, so I'm just going to do this one at a time. So this is Ox E is the first one. We're just going to use the letters because that's what it uses in the encounter tracker. Okay. So this one, they have speed of 30 feet, which is going to be able to put them with a dash right up to us. And let me see, they just have a gore attack basically. And if they moved 20 feet straight toward the target immediately before the hit, that target takes an extra 7 piercing damage. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play them not super intelligent. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I were playing them very strategic, I would probably like not dash up to us. But so that I could try to get that gore attack off. But it's just going to dash and it's going to occupy the space next to both of us. Sure. Ox number, this is actually going to be really hard, I think. Ox number 2, or rather Ox I, is going to do the same thing. And just, I think the benefit here is they're just not going to be able to all of them get at us at once. And so we won't actually have to interface with all of them at once. All right, so Delandra's up next.
Yeah. Okay. So Del is going to, well, first of all, sorry, how do we want to interpret the dying note from the generator? Like, are they lower health, or are we just taking this like something's weird about them?
Yeah, I can either have all of their health or just double our damage.
Yeah, just have their health, I guess.
Okay. That's what I'll do then. So all of them will be at 7 max HP override from 15.
Oh, wow, that feels too easy. Down to 7? I don't know. Maybe not. There's 9 of them.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of them.
Right.
And they can actually do a lot of damage. So
you're right. That's great.
So they're
dying.
They're all sickly. They're all, something's wrong with them. That's got them like crazed, and it makes them not as tough.
Okay. So Del then is going to take a stab at Ox E. That's going to be a 24 to hit.
That hits.
Okay. That's 8 piercing damage.
It goes down.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and just, as they die, so they're not blocking our view, I'm going to move them up and away over here.
Okay. He says, move over. It really accentuates the moo.
Well done.
And then let's see. Then he's just going to do a. He can just do a bonus action second stab, I think, with the dagger because it's a light
Yep, should be.
weapon. So he's going to do that for his bonus action, and that's going to be a 19 to hit.
Hits.
Heck yeah, it does. And a 9 damage.
Wait. Did you add your modifier to that? Because I don't think you should have.
Oh, to the bonus action. You're right. So that's just a 6.
Okay. Almost killed it. It looks bad.
And then have it do a Constitution saving throw because there's grung poison on that dagger.
All right. 18.
Nope. Poison does not affect this ox.
All right. So next one we have is Ox A. It's going to, what's the distance here? Yeah, I can make it. I think all of them are going to be able to make it up to us with a dash. So it's just going to replace the next one, do nothing else. Ox B, same thing. This would be terrifying to actually like be standing there as all of these ox run over.
Just rush up.
I think this one, no, it would still be able to. So it's just gonna get up in there. And then we have Ox G, Gox. We should just apply like the letter to the front of the ox name. It's kind of weird for non-consonants, but you know.
Yeah.
This one is Ox F, so fox. Okay. And then we have one more, Ox H, before I go. This one is Hawks. Okay, now it's my turn.
Okay.
So Ox I, you have bloodied already. So I'm just gonna pick a different target. I'm gonna go after Ox A, and I'm going to. Oh, you know what we didn't do and should have done? We should have long rested while we were in city, because I would have got my thing back.
Oh yeah, I forgot you used that resource.
Okay, so because we have so many enemies, I'm gonna leave my shield in hand and just attack with trident. So I'm gonna hit Ox A with the trident. That's gonna be a 22 to hit. This is gonna be a 1d8 with a one-handed trident. That's gonna be 7 damage. Kills that one. Ox A goes down.
There you go.
Great, thank you. I can't do anything else given the situation, but I am going to move up here and slightly control their progress here. Ox C is up next. It's going to get in back here, and then we've got one more, Ox D. And it's going to run in back here and back to the top of the turn order. And now we get to see some action from Ox I. It's going to go ahead and try to gore you.
Oh no.
And a 10 misses.
It sure does.
With your quick little froggy self, you are able to evade the attack. And now it is your turn.
Okay. Dell is going to do a little froggy flip and kick this ox. That's a 14 to hit.
14 hits.
Nice. And that's going to be an 8.
8 damage. Does some significant overkill, and Ox I goes down.
Beautiful. So then Dell is going to up here. Ooh, how does Dell want to play this actually? Yeah, actually, Dell's just gonna hang back here by Am, and he's going to use one of his focus points. So he's gonna chant a little froggy monk mantra, or make a Naruto hand sign, or however monks in D&D use their focus points. And he's gonna engage patient defense and use the dodge. So attacks against him will have disadvantage. And that's where he's going to end his turn.
All right. Ox B is up. This one is going to attack Amrienor. Try to gore him. A 20 is going to hit.
Oh, no.
Am takes 7 damage. All right. Down to 15 out of 22 HP. Ox G is up. This one's going to rear back a little and charge Delandra. So here comes the gore at disadvantage, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 9 misses.
Sure does.
Patient defense for the win. Ox F is up next. This one's just going to go for a straight gore against Am. It's going to miss at 13. And then Ox H is up next. This one's going to rear back as well and get this little opening in here. It won't be able to end its turn here, but there's enough of a gap here where it is going to try to gore me. 14 misses, and then it kind of has to settle in at the end of its turn. I guess back here, but that would trigger an opportunity attack from me, which I'm just going to go ahead and take since it got an attack off on me, even though it's kind of forcing it maybe on my end. So that's going to be a trident attack of opportunity as my reaction. A 22 to hit definitely hits.
Nice.
And an 8 brings it down. Ox H goes down.
Steak tartare there.
All right, now I'm up. Let's go ahead and kill him, bring him up. And then I'm going to go after Ox F that just gored me and try to hit it with my trident. Crit. Hell yeah. So that's 2d8 piercing. 9 damage. It goes down.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first crit of the game, I think.
Yeah, you're right.
On attacks, anyway. Okay, Ox C is up. This one's going to charge and try to gore me, since I'm the most visible here.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a 24. That hits. And this is going to hurt because it got the charge off. So that's going to be 5 plus an extra 2d6.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So that's going to be 14 total. I'm down to 1 HP.
Okay.
I should have second winded on my turn, but I did not. Ox D is up. This one is not going to be able to get the angle on me. So it's just going to keep its distance and wait for an opening since its buddies are sort of blocking from being able to hit. And then Delandra is up.
It's swishing its tail and snorting as it looks for an opening.
Yep.
Dell is going to do another little froggy flip and kick at Ox G. And that's going to be a 13 to hit.
13 hits.
Nice. Okay. And that's 7 on the hit.
Dang.
Boom.
Knocks him out.
Just heel right down on the ox's head.
That was G, right?
Just, yeah, crushing its skull, I guess. And Dell's going to sort of step into the space with Am, and he's going to flurry of blows. One, he suddenly becomes a little whirlwind of froggy feet, and one for each ox. So the first one will be on Ox B, and that's a 10 to hit.
Meets it beats.
No way. Okay. And that's going to be 7 Another ox falls, crushed by Dell's froggy heel.
Was that B or C?
B.
All right, B goes down.
His other foot flies up, catching ox C, and that's a 20 to hit.
20 hits.
And that's an 8.
Jeez.
Yeah, just uppercut with his foot. Oxy
Goes down.
dead. And then Dell hops back to the edge of the fray.
Okay. All right, I'm up next. I'm going to go ahead and use my second wind here. I think I roll a d10. Plus my fighter level, so that's going to be +2. Let's see how much healing I can get here. Nice. So 11 healing. Up to 12,
Perfect.
up to about half. And then I'm going to go ahead and run in, close the gap between me and Ox D, and hit it with my trident. 20 to hit. And 10 total damage. It goes down.
How does Am do it?
I mean, it's a trident, so it's like a fork picks up the whole ox and then just like smacks it back down on the ground.
Nice. Using his incredible robot strength.
Indeed. Okay. That actually went pretty well for us considering how it could have gone. So that's great. Let's get that experience. A herd of aggressive oxen. 225 experience for that deadly encounter, so very good amount of experience there.
Nice.
Worth the risk. We're halfway about to level 3 at this point.
Okay.
And okay, so that was our full first 6 hours of travel. I think we have 2 more hours of travel before we get to the coast.
Okay, wait. So before we move on, Dell, this is a strange encounter. That they were just rushed by this herd of, sort of crippled ox. Dell wants to investigate and see if he can perceive what's wrong. So he says, that's odd. Ox don't usually behave this way. He's gonna go. What do you want to roll for this?
If you have I think you probably animal handling would be your best roll for this, I'm guessing, actually.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a 21.
Okay. So with a 21, I think you would probably well, there is a question here of what do we actually think is happening?
Yeah. So let's ask the generator. I want to know okay, so story here. I'm thinking maybe whatever is happening with these obelisks, a story we have yet to develop, perhaps is affecting creatures in the area in some way. So what I'm wondering actually is maybe if you remember, there was a presence that we felt at the first obelisk, as we did the cleansing. So I'm wondering if we are able to sort of sense that same presence, maybe as Dell is engaging with these ox corpses. We could, I don't know if you want to ask the generator whether or not.
Yeah, what do you think the likelihood is? Just even?
I think maybe it's likely.
Yes.
Okay. So Dell, he sort of goes over and he kind of like lays a hand on one of the ox corpses and kind of snatches it back uh, and turns and looks troubled uh, and says, "There's something wrong with these creatures. It feels like the cave. It feels like the obelisk at searches for name at Kha'Zarah. Something
These creatures
happened.
don't normally act like this.
No, they're normally docile, unless provoked. Something is happening to these creatures. Maybe whatever we find at the next obelisk can shed some light on this, but we should definitely report this to Nar when we return."
Hmm. Very strange. And Am just kind of like stares at the creatures, like wondering what it would be like to see them not so aggressive, but calm and peaceful. Single tear.
All right. Dell is troubled, but doesn't really have any idea what's going on or have any insight here. So he says, "Well, on we go."
Okay. I'm going to add these notes to the Purify the Obelisk at Barazirion. So we have that for context. And then I think we go 2 more hours until we reach the coast. It's 11 in game. And I think at this point, having reached the lighthouse, which, what do you want to say? Do you want to say that that is a lighthouse? And
Yeah, I'm imagining that this is like a small little village around this lighthouse because this is some kind of, site
okay,
where people access this place where the obelisk is at some point.
okay.
Um,
So
so there's
let's
probably like a little inn or something
let me
in the
generate
appear.
then a little village for us.
Great.
So I'm gonna just keep generating till I find. Here we go. Village called Northwatch. It says it's within the branches of a world tree, which doesn't really fit here. But
But it's afflicted by a mysterious illness. Perfect.
okay, yeah. So something about what was affecting the ox also is happening here with Northwatch.
Wow, way to cooperate with us, generator robot.
All right, I'm saving this as a new entity. Okay, so do we want to ask any questions about the illness, or because we're kind of just like rolling into this town now after dark, and I suppose we would need to find an inn to stay in. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna generate an inn in this town for us. Or village. The Canopy's Rest is what it's called.
Okay. Maybe there's just a giant tree in the middle of this town, and perhaps it has something magical going on with it that we'll discover later. But that would make sense with the village description. Okay, so we roll into the Canopy's Rest, and Connor, who does Dell see behind the bar as he walks in, as he fruggles in, I should say?
Let's generate somebody. Waited. Another lizard folk.
Ooh.
His name is
Mordoom.
Lizard folk. Defiant kineticist. Illuminate dignity. He's got a polished appearance. A fleshy nose doesn't really make sense for a lizard folk. Bossy. Fear of the figure 8. A kidnapper. Interesting.
Okay.
So this is our bartender with a background that we may never really learn more about. But let me go ahead and add this note here. Bartender at the Canopy's Rest. In, what was our town name again? Northwatch?
Northwatch.
Okay, so that's all we have so far for him. So we're going to go ahead and save him as this entity.
So Dell froggles up to the bar, and he's like 3 feet tall, so he kind of hops up onto a stool and says, "Greetings, barkeep.
What can I do for you?"
Well, my friend and I here are in need of a place to rest for the night. You see, we've been sent by the Veiled on a mission to cleanse Barazirion, to check the obelisk there, to ensure it's ready for the great ritual."
Well, I hope you do more good than harm. Things have been bad lately.
Oh? Bad how?
Sickness. Something's wrong. Wouldn't be surprised if it had something to do with that obelisk you mentioned.
Wrong. Interesting. We encountered a group of oxen on the way here who were strange, as if they were affected by some power.
All manner of beasts been acting weird these days. Not surprising in the least. What did you do to them?
Oh, we were forced to kill them to defend ourselves.
Shame. If I'm not mistaken, those belong to somebody in town.
Oh. Well, we'll just stay the night and then we'll be on our way in the morning. If you could, how much is the room?
Room's 15 copper. It's not much.
Oh, that's convenient. We were each just given 18 copper recently. And he pulls out his coppers.
I'm going to take this from the pool instead of from any of our individual inventories. Did you add that to your personal loot? Did you happen to?
No, I hadn't yet.
Good. Yeah, I like last time. I'm just gonna add it to the pool, and then at the end of the session, we can distribute. So that was. So you hand over the coppers. He hands you a room key. He says, "Best of luck to you."
Now, does Mordoom have any sort of reaction to hearing about that 18 copper that
good question.
Dell mentioned?
I don't think he doesn't seem to be like that connected to the Veiled. He's, I think.
Oh no, I meant because he has a phobia of 8.
Well. Oh, okay. Well, you said 18, so I.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he didn't like see an 8 or anything like that, so he's fine. Right. You could just like draw an 8 and see what happens.
For whatever reason, Dell's just kind of like tracing figure 8s in the air.
Perhaps when you get upstairs, looking at all the rooms, there's like rooms 1 through 15, but there's no 8. Yeah. So you could roll like a perception to see if you notice that.
Yeah, why not?
Because then you could make a point to ask about it.
15.
Okay, sure. Yeah, with a 15, you notice that there's no room 8, and you maybe store that away as a question of why you think there might be no room 8, and you can ask Mordoom in the morning.
All right. So Dell, once they get settled in the room, says, "I'll be right back. Need to hit the old watering hole," and he hops down to the coast to soak for an hour.
Great. I'm going to go ahead and log the hour. Give us another time pool. It's now midnight when you return. So we can either, I guess we could, if we generate a danger after long resting, we're going to have to deal with it. And we're basically at time. So we could just say that we're ending the session where we're about to go to sleep in the Canopy's Rest. What do you think?
Do the time pool roll, and if we'll just know whether or not it's a cliffhanger.
Okay. So we'll do so that was our first of 8 hours resting. So the next 3 will trigger the time pool and we'll be halfway through our long rest. Let's see what the time pool gives us, if anything. It did. Interesting.
Really?
And it's fitting. It's a poison disease.
Oh.
So there's something going on in the village. So this is how this sets up is kind of like a trap. But in the middle of the night, what do we want to say? I think it makes sense for it to be a disease. Yeah?
Okay. Yeah, okay. Sure.
So I'm completely immune to disease. So this is not going to affect me in the least, and I'm probably not even going to notice it. So this is something that's going to exclusively potentially affect your character. So I think what we should do is
actually let's play it not like a biological disease, but like something. There's some sort of like resonance or something like. Not psychological, but like some sort of
energetic.
Something is emanating. Yeah, that's like affecting people's minds and creatures' minds.
Okay. So you're going to make a save to be affected by this, and it's potentially going to do some damage to you. But I think this is going to be like a wisdom save. It's more psychological. So go ahead and make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, it's an 11.
Okay, you saved because it's a DC 10. And oh wait, it says +2 divided by 4. So that would have been like, and we'll just round down. Whatever. If it were 11, you would have saved anyway. So not a big deal. But you do feel it. Let's say you wake up in the middle of the night, 3 a.m., and you just like all of a sudden like sense that something is affecting you, and it's dangerous, and it could have hurt you.
Maybe actually, I'm thinking maybe we play this like Dell's having like strange dreams, and because he passed the save, the nightmare doesn't sort of come to fruition, but he kind of wakes with some strange like words ringing through his mind that he doesn't understand, but maybe that sound sort of similar to like the kind of spell phrase that he was given to cleanse the obelisk.
Okay, so some sort of deep speech, perhaps.
Yeah, okay. And maybe we have Dell roll to see if he actually like senses that similarity, but narratively, that's some sort of deep speech words.
Yeah, you can make some sort of like history or intelligence, something, arcana. Yeah. I think you're going to be bad at all of these, but you can try.
Let's do a religion one.
Sure.
Given the veiled context, and that's an 8. So
I'd say no.
Yeah, I'd say no too. Okay, so he doesn't notice any similarities, but he does awake having heard with these strange words that he doesn't recognize ringing through his mind.
Would you say it was like a disturbed sleep that you were having, so that you might have been tossing and turning?
Yeah.
So exactly. As soon as you wake, Am is attentive and like, "Are you okay?"
Something, I don't know. I heard something in my rest. It was like a voice, but I couldn't understand the words. But it felt like something was trying to get me, to harm me. I wonder if this is what the barkeeper was talking about.
You're wrong. I didn't hear anything while you were resting.
No, no, in my mind, in my dreams.
Oh,
You
dreams.
know what
I've
dreams are, right?
I've heard of these. This makes sense to me now. So,
Wait, what do you mean you've heard of them? You don't dream?
no, I don't sleep or dream.
Oh,
This is why I was
well,
confused when you said you heard something, because I am certain I heard nothing.
yeah, no, I got it. That's too bad, I guess. And Dell just, he doesn't really have like the emotional bandwidth to figure out how to respond here, so he's just a little flustered and says, "Well, why don't we ask the barkeep in the morning? But for now, I'm gonna try to shake this off and go back to sleep."
Sure. Sleep well. Okay, so we'll ask the barkeep in the morning. And then we just do 4 more hours until we hit the morning. 7 a.m. It's a clear day. And we have 4 time pool dice to start us off. Okay. That's that. So in the when we play again, we'll be going downstairs. We'll be speaking with our pal Mordoom. 2 lizard folk in a row, man. There must just be a lot of lizard folk around in this
Lots
region.
of frogs, lots of lizards.
Cool. All right. Well, that's that. Until next time on Tabletop Therapy, we'll explore the obelisk and figure out what's going on. We'll figure out this strange disease, this energetic eminence that is plaguing the ox of the region and the frogs too.
The story threads are just falling right into our lap so far. I'm excited to see where we, how we shape this thing.
Oh, yeah. All right. Till next time. Good night.
Frog out.
Froggle.